If nothing in your life is changing, it's because you haven't changed yet. And in this video, I'll give you a 10-minute daily method, inspired by Joe Dispenza and backed by neuroscience, to start shifting your reality this week. Stay with me to the end and you'll leave with a clear step-by-step change, then change protocol and a 5-minute practice you can do today to rewire your brain and break the cycle. This is not motivation. It's a blueprint to change your identity so your results finally change. Quick check-in. Do your days feel like copy-paste? Same thoughts, same emotions, same outcomes? Are you hustling, visualizing, saying affirmations, but your nervous system stays stuck in stress or scarcity? Do relationships, money, or health keep looping back to the same problems? If you nodded yes, this video is for you. Here's what we're doing. I'll unpack Joe Dispenza's core idea. You don't get the future you want. You get the future that matches who you are. We'll break down the loop of thoughts, emotions, actions, results, show how neuroplasticity and epigenetics let you update that loop, and walk through the 3-step method. 1. Break the habit of being yourself. 2. Install the new self with mental rehearsal. 3. Elevate emotion to signal a new reality. You'll also hear real transformation stories and a simple way to measure progress at 7, 30, 90, and 365 days. By watching to the end, you'll learn how to calm your survival chemistry, regain focus, and create alignment between what you think, feel, and do. So opportunities, synchronicities, and better decisions become normal. Expect less anxiety, more clarity, deeper self-trust, and momentum toward the life you actually want, without forcing. Here's the flow. First, a 30-second test to spot your old self-code. Then the 3-step method you can plug into your day in under 10 minutes. We finish with a guided 5-minute practice to lock it in. Ready to stop waiting for life to change and become the person who changes it? Let's begin. Most people want change but live trapped inside a cycle they can't escape. Every morning they wake up with the same thoughts as yesterday. Those thoughts generate the same emotions, which fuel the same actions, leading to the same results. This loop is what Joe Dispenza calls the habit of being yourself. The pain comes from believing change is possible while secretly feeling stuck in the same identity. If nothing new is created on the inside, nothing new can appear on the outside. This is why people feel like they are chasing transformation but never catching it. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you promised yourself, "This time I'll stay calm. This time I'll believe in myself. This time I'll change for good"? And yet, within days or weeks, you're reacting the same way, sabotaging your progress, and feeling the same disappointments. The frustration grows because part of you knows you're capable of more, but something invisible keeps pulling you back. That something is not bad luck. It's not destiny working against you. It's the unconscious programming of the old self. And until you break that pattern, life will continue to mirror it back to you. Add to this the crushing weight of modern stress. People live in constant fight or flight, flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. At first, they tell themselves, "It's just busy life." But over time, stress becomes the default operating system, draining the immune system, clouding judgment, and blocking creativity. How can someone attract abundance, love, or clarity when their biology is wired for survival? You don't manifest a dream life from fear. You only repeat the past. And so, many people stay stuck in jobs, relationships, and mindsets that keep them small, even while they secretly crave expansion. Another painful illusion is the idea that working harder will finally create breakthrough. People push, hustle, and grind, hoping that effort alone will unlock freedom. But external action without internal change only creates exhaustion. This is why so many affirmations, vision boards, or goals fail. If the body and emotions are addicted to fear, scarcity, or doubt, then the future they create will always match that chemistry. The pain of trying everything, but seeing little change makes people feel powerless, like the universe is deaf to their desires. But the truth is, the universe is not ignoring them. It's simply responding to their energy. Stories from people who transformed through meditation show how universal these struggles are. One woman described how she tried every self-help method but kept falling back into depression. She thought she was broken. But what she discovered is that her body had memorized sadness for so long it became her baseline. When she began practicing Joe Dispenza's meditations, she slowly interrupted that program. Within months, she felt lighter, and her friends noticed she laughed again. The old identity dissolved, and with it, the illusion that she was powerless. Her story proves that the pain of repetition is not permanent. It's a signal to awaken. And maybe this sounds familiar to you. Maybe you've been doing the inner work, reading, journaling, or trying to manifest, but deep down you're asking, why isn't it working? Why am I still attracting the same problems? Why do I feel stuck when I'm doing everything I can? These questions are painful but powerful, because they're the doorway to real transformation. If you've ever felt this, stay with me. The answers you've been searching for are not outside you. They're hidden inside your current state of being. And in this video, you're going to learn how to break that cycle step by step. Here's the truth. Your pain is not a punishment, it's an invitation. Every frustration, every repeated mistake, every restless night is your soul's way of saying, it's time to become someone new. That's why you're here right now, listening to this. It's not random. Some part of you knows you can change, knows you're meant for more. And as you continue watching, you'll see exactly how Joe Dispenza's method can guide you to shift your identity, your energy, and your entire reality. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. One striking example comes from a man who had battled financial instability for most of his adult life. No matter how many hours he worked or how many side projects he tried, he never seemed to get ahead. He carried constant anxiety, waking up each morning already worrying about bills. His reality was simply a reflection of his inner state of scarcity. When he began practicing meditation, he admitted at first nothing seemed to happen, but internally, the shift was enormous. He started feeling gratitude before seeing results, and opportunities began to appear. Within a year, he doubled his income and finally felt free. His pain story reminds us, external struggle is often just the echo of an inner identity that hasn't yet changed. Another powerful story comes from a woman who had lived with chronic illness for over a decade. Doctors gave her little hope, and she felt trapped in her body. She admitted she no longer believed she could heal. But through consistent meditation, she began experiencing small breakthroughs. More energy, less pain, and eventually, complete remission. She said the hardest part wasn't the illness. It was believing change was possible. Once she allowed herself to feel a new state of wholeness, her body followed. Her journey shows that even the deepest suffering can become a catalyst for transformation when you dare to step outside the program of the old self. The principle of inner change. The principle of inner change is simple to say but hard to live. Your outer world is nothing more than a mirror of your inner world. If you don't change who you are being, you will keep experiencing the same results. Joe Dispenza often says, to change your personal reality, you must change your personality. That means changing the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the behaviors you repeat every single day. This is not about pretending or forcing. It's about breaking free from the identity that is unconsciously creating your current reality. Until you transform on the inside, no vision board or external action will stick. Think of it this way. Your thoughts are the language of your brain, and your emotions are the language of your body. Together, they create the state of being that the universe responds to. If you wake up thinking, nothing ever works for me, and feeling frustration, you've already instructed your body and mind to repeat the past. The law of attraction isn't broken. It's just faithfully matching your state of being. Inner change begins when you consciously replace those old emotional patterns with elevated states like gratitude, joy, and trust, even before your external life reflects them. Science backs this principle in a powerful way. Neuroscience shows that the brain is neuroplastic. It literally rewires itself based on repeated thoughts and experiences. Epigenetics reveals that your emotional environment can turn genes on or off, influencing health and vitality. Quantum physics suggests that your energy field interacts with the field of possibilities, collapsing certain outcomes into your reality. When you live in stress, you collapse more of the same. When you live in elevated states, you collapse different, more expansive outcomes. Change your state, and you change what's possible. Real stories illustrate this better than theory. A man struggling with years of anger and resentment shared that he realized his emotions were programming his future. Every day he rehearsed the same internal movie: betrayal, frustration, bitterness. He finally decided to practice inner change, replacing those mental rehearsals with forgiveness and compassion. Within months, his health improved, and he reconnected with his estranged family. His life didn't change because luck appeared. It changed because his identity shifted. The outer reconciliation was a reflection of the inner forgiveness. Another example comes from a young woman who wanted love but constantly attracted toxic partners. She realized that deep inside, she felt unworthy and kept vibrating from lack. Through meditation and emotional rehearsal, she began embodying self-love and imagining herself in a relationship filled with respect and care. Months later, she met someone who matched that vision. The inner change of worthiness had to come first. The relationship was just the external confirmation. This story echoes Joe Dispenza's teaching: you don't wait for success to feel empowered. You feel empowered and success comes. This principle also explains why so many people feel frustrated with affirmations or positive thinking. If you repeat, "I am abundant," but deep inside you feel scarcity, the body is sending a different signal than the mind. True change happens when thought and emotion are aligned. That's why Joe Dispenza emphasizes practicing elevated emotions as if your future is happening now. The brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It only knows what you repeatedly feel. And when you sustain that alignment, the external world eventually catches up. So here's the key takeaway. Your life doesn't change when conditions improve. It changes when your identity improves. Who you are being, moment by moment, is creating your reality. If you want a new life, you must first become a new self. That's the essence of inner change. And in the next section, we'll dive into the science and techniques that make it possible. But before that, reflect: what identity are you rehearsing today? Is it the old self, tied to the past? Or are you ready to step into the new self that creates a new future? One unforgettable story is about a woman diagnosed with severe autoimmune disease who felt trapped in a cycle of pain and hopelessness. Every day she woke up rehearsing the same emotions of fear and despair, which only deepened her suffering. When she learned about Joe Dispenza's teachings, she decided to embody a new state of being even before her body healed. She began meditating daily, feeling gratitude and joy as if she were already healthy. At first, it felt fake, but little by little her body followed her new emotions. Months later, she not only reversed her condition but also described herself as more alive than ever before. Her healing didn't begin in the hospital. It began in her inner world. Another case comes from a man who was stuck in the same low-paying job for over a decade. He dreamed of starting his own business but constantly told himself he wasn't capable or worthy of success. His reality mirrored that belief. No progress, no opportunities. Through consistent meditation, he reprogrammed his inner identity from powerless to capable. He visualized himself running a thriving business and felt the emotions of freedom and success every single day. Within a year, he launched his company, and opportunities flowed in ways he couldn't explain. His story demonstrates the principle perfectly. When the inner self changes, the outer reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to match. The science behind transformation. The beauty of Joe Dispenza's work is that it bridges two worlds, the mystical and the scientific. For centuries, Spiritual traditions have taught that thoughts and emotions create reality, but only recently has science caught up. Neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics now confirm what ancient wisdom always suggested. Your inner state influences your outer life. This is why transformation isn't just a motivational idea. It's measurable, observable, and repeatable. The science gives us proof that changing your mind and emotions literally rewires your body and your future. Let's start with neuroscience. Every thought you think creates a network of neurons firing together in the brain. When you repeat the same thought, those neurons wire together more strongly, creating a highway that makes the thought automatic. This is how habits of thinking are formed. If you constantly think, "I'm not good enough," your brain builds that as a default program. But through meditation and mental rehearsal, you can create new neural pathways, replacing self-doubt with empowerment, fear with trust, lack with abundance. Over time, the brain physically changes, supporting a new identity. Epigenetics takes this deeper. For years, we believed genes controlled our destiny. But research now shows that genes are like light switches. They turn on or off depending on signals from the environment. And one of the strongest environments is your emotional state. Chronic stress can switch on disease-related genes, while elevated emotions like gratitude and love can activate healing pathways. In Joe Dispenza's workshops, researchers have measured shifts in participants' immune systems, showing that consistent meditation can strengthen the body's ability to heal itself. Change your emotions, and you change your biology. The science of heart-brain coherence adds another layer. Studies reveal that when people feel elevated emotions like gratitude, the heart's rhythm becomes more ordered and harmonious. This coherent rhythm sends signals to the brain, creating mental clarity and balance. Participants often report feeling more centered, creative, and intuitive during these states. Joe Dispenza teaches people to deliberately generate these elevated emotions, aligning the heart and brain so the entire body operates at a higher frequency. This isn't abstract. It's measurable with technology like heart rate variability monitors. Then there's quantum physics, the most controversial yet exciting aspect. At the subatomic level, reality exists as a field of infinite possibilities until observed. Joe Dispenza teaches that our consciousness interacts with this field, collapsing potential into actual experiences. When you combine intention, a clear thought, with emotion, an elevated feeling, you send out a signal to the quantum field that magnetizes experiences aligned with that state. Many dismiss this as mystical, but countless stories of synchronicities, miracles, and unexpected breakthroughs from practitioners make it impossible to ignore. Science is still exploring this, but the evidence from human experience is overwhelming. One striking example comes from a participant who measured significant biological changes after just a week of meditation. His cortisol levels dropped dramatically, while antibodies increased, boosting his immunity. Another participant reported the disappearance of chronic migraines that had lasted for years. These are not isolated cases. Studies from Joe Dispenza's events show measurable changes in brain scans, immune markers, and energy fields of participants. The science confirms what the heart already knows. When you change inside, everything outside shifts. Ultimately, the science is a bridge for the skeptical mind. You don't need to blindly believe in miracles or mystical ideas. You can look at the research and see that transformation is not only possible, it's predictable. Neuroplasticity proves you can rewire your brain. Epigenetics proves you can influence your health. Quantum physics suggests your consciousness plays a role in shaping reality. And human stories prove the results are real. This blend of science and spirituality makes Joe Dispenza's work so powerful. It gives the modern seeker permission to believe, backed by data. One documented case comes from a study conducted during one of Joe Dispenza's advanced workshops, where participants' brain scans revealed extraordinary changes. A woman who had struggled with chronic insomnia for more than a decade showed a dramatic increase in alpha and theta brainwave activity after several days of meditation. These are the brainwave states linked to deep relaxation, healing, and creativity. Following the event, she reported sleeping peacefully for the first time in years, without medication. The brain scan data matched her experience, proving that meditation had shifted her neurological state. This wasn't placebo or imagination. It was a measurable transformation in brain function. Another striking study involved measuring immunoglobulin A, IgA, a critical protein of the immune system. At the beginning of a 7-day retreat, participants were tested, and many had average or below average levels, often linked to stress and weakened immunity. By the end of the retreat, IgA levels had risen significantly across the group, by as much as 49% in some cases. This means their bodies were literally stronger and more resilient to disease after only a week of consistent practice. One participant who had struggled with frequent infections said she didn't get sick once in the months following the retreat. Again, science confirmed what the participants felt. Their inner change produced tangible, biological results. The practical method. The real power of Joe Dispenza's teachings lies in their practicality. Transformation is not reserved for monks, gurus, or spiritual elites. It's available to anyone willing to commit. The method is structured but simple. You begin by becoming conscious of your old patterns, you replace them with a vision of your new self, and you practice elevated emotions that align you with that vision. Think of it as mental and emotional training for the life you want to create. Just like physical exercise shapes your body, this practice shapes your mind and energy field. The first step is awareness. You cannot change what you don't recognize. Start by observing your automatic thoughts, emotional triggers, and habitual reactions. Notice how often you wake up replaying the past or expecting the same problems. Awareness pulls the unconscious into the conscious, and that's the beginning of freedom. One participant shared that simply journaling her recurring negative thoughts made her realize she was rehearsing disappointment before the day even started. By identifying the script, she could begin to rewrite it. The second step is mental rehearsal. This means creating a clear image of the future self you want to become and practicing it in your mind as if it's happening now. Neuroscience shows that the brain doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. It fires the same circuits either way. Athletes use visualization to train their bodies without moving. Joe Dispenza teaches us to do the same with life itself. Picture yourself healthy, abundant, loved, or successful. The clearer the image, the stronger the signal you send to your brain and the quantum field. The third step is embodying elevated emotions. Thoughts alone are not enough. You must pair them with feelings. Gratitude, joy, love, and wholeness are the fuel that energizes your vision. When you feel grateful for a future that hasn't yet happened, you are signaling to your body that it already has. Over time, your body begins to believe it's living in that new reality, and your biology shifts accordingly. This is why people who commit to the practice often report feeling lighter, freer, and more energized even before external changes appear. The emotion is the magnet that draws the experience. The fourth step is consistency. Many people give up too soon, expecting instant results. But just as physical muscles require repetition to grow, mental and emotional muscles require practice. Set aside 15 to 30 minutes each day for meditation, ideally in the morning when your brain is most receptive. You don't need hours of silence or perfection. You just need daily commitment. One man admitted he nearly quit after 3 weeks of feeling nothing, but he kept going. By the second month, he experienced his first profound breakthrough, and within a year, his life was unrecognizable. The fifth step is integration. Meditation is not about escaping life. It's about changing how you live it. After each session, carry the elevated emotions into your day. If you practiced gratitude, walk, speak, and act with gratitude. If you rehearsed abundance, show up in your day with confidence and generosity. This is how you bridge the gap between meditation and manifestation. The goal is not just to have extraordinary experiences in meditation, but to become extraordinary in ordinary life. Integration is where transformation sticks. Finally, the sixth step is trust. Inner change is not linear, and results often appear in unexpected ways. Some people experience breakthroughs quickly. Others see gradual shifts. The key is to trust the process. Every meditation, even the ones that feel uneventful, is reshaping your brain, your body, and your energy. Trust builds resilience, and resilience creates mastery. As Joe Dispenza says, when you stay present, you are no longer predictable. You are free to create. The practical method is your roadmap, but trust is the fuel that keeps you walking it. One inspiring story comes from a young man who admitted he could barely sit still for 5 minutes when he first began. He thought meditation wasn't for him, that his restless mind meant he was failing. But instead of chasing perfection, he committed to Joe Dispenza's guided meditations for just 10 minutes each night before bed. At first, he noticed only subtle changes. He felt slightly calmer, he slept a little deeper. But 3 months later, he was meditating for 30 minutes effortlessly, and the results were undeniable. His anxiety dropped, his focus sharpened, and he began performing better at work. His journey shows that you don't have to start big. Even the smallest consistent step rewires your life in extraordinary ways. Another example comes from a woman who was going through a painful divorce and felt completely broken. She didn't believe she could meditate, but she forced herself to try just 15 minutes every morning. In the beginning, she cried during every session, releasing years of bottled-up grief. But she kept showing up. Slowly, the tears turned into peace, and peace turned into genuine joy. 6 months later, she described herself as reborn. Her health improved, new friendships entered her life, and she discovered a passion for a career she never imagined possible. Starting small with consistent practice gave her back the power she thought she had lost forever. The journey of transformation. The first 30 days are about breaking the cycle of the old self. At this stage, resistance is normal. The body craves familiar emotions like stress, worry, or doubt. Meditation feels uncomfortable, and the mind tries to convince you it's not working. But beneath the surface, powerful shifts are beginning. The brain starts rewiring, and the body slowly learns that it doesn't need to live in survival mode. People often notice small signs: better sleep, a lighter mood, or fewer emotional triggers. These subtle changes are proof that the old programming is weakening. By 90 days, transformation begins to feel real. The new self is no longer just a vision, it's becoming an experience. Thoughts feel clearer, emotions more balanced, and the body more energized. This is the stage where synchronicities often appear, unexpected opportunities, meaningful coincidences, or encounters that feel divinely orchestrated. People describe this as the universe responding to their new energy. One participant shared how, after 3 months of daily practice, a dream job offer appeared out of nowhere. She hadn't chased it, it came to her. This is the magnetic pull of transformation in action. At 6 months, the old self feels like a distant memory. People often report profound emotional healing, traumas losing their grip, self-sabotage dissolving, and deep peace replacing anxiety. The body continues to reflect the change: stronger immunity, healthier sleep, and renewed vitality. A man once described how, after half a year of practice, he no longer recognized his old patterns of anger. He had spent decades quick to react, but now he found himself naturally calm and compassionate. The new self wasn't something he had to force, it had become his default state. By 9 months, transformation is embodied. The new self is no longer fragile. It's stable, integrated, and natural. At this stage, people feel a deep sense of empowerment. Instead of waiting for life to fix itself, they recognize that they are the creators of their reality. Many describe feeling more connected to intuition, as if life flows more smoothly. Obstacles don't disappear, but the way they are met changes entirely. One woman explained that by her 9th month, she had rebuilt her entire life after bankruptcy. New career, new confidence, and new opportunities she could never have imagined in her old state. At 1 year, the transformation is breathtaking. People often look back and barely recognize who they were before. The repeated patterns of fear, scarcity, or self-doubt have been replaced by trust, abundance, and clarity. One participant shared that, after a year of practice, she had not only healed her depression but also written a book, launched a business, and attracted supportive relationships. She said, "It feels like the life I always dreamed of finally caught up with me." This shows that a year of inner work can accomplish what decades of external struggle never could. The most powerful part of this journey is realizing that the change doesn't stop at 1 year. Transformation becomes a way of life. Each meditation, each moment of awareness, builds momentum. The new self is not a final destination. It's an ever-expanding possibility. People who commit to this practice describe their second year as even more magical. Deeper peace, stronger intuition, and manifestations arriving faster. It's proof that once you step into this path, there is no going back. The old self is gone, and a limitless reality awaits. So here's the question. If so many people can experience radical transformation in 30, 90, or 365 days, why not you? What could your life look like a year from now if you committed today? Imagine waking up healthier, more abundant, and more aligned with your true purpose. This journey is not for the chosen few. It's for anyone willing to begin. And in the next part, we'll break down the steps you can take right now to start your own journey of transformation. One remarkable story comes from a man who spent most of his life battling addiction. 4 years, he tried every external solution, rehab programs, counseling, willpower, but nothing created lasting change. He felt doomed to repeat the same cycle. When he discovered Joe Dispenza's meditations, he decided to commit to 1 year of daily practice. At first, the inner resistance was overwhelming, but he pushed through. By 3 months, he noticed that the cravings were weaker. By 6 months, he had replaced destructive habits with creativity and exercise. At the 1-year mark, he described himself as reborn, living a life of clarity, purpose, and freedom. His story shows that even the deepest chains can be broken from within. Another powerful example is of a woman who had lived with grief for over a decade after losing her child. She said the pain had defined her identity, and nothing she tried could fill the emptiness. Through Joe Dispenza's teachings, she learned to shift from identifying with loss to embodying love and gratitude. Each day, she practiced visualizing herself whole again, connecting with the elevated emotions she thought she had lost forever. Slowly, her energy shifted. By the 1-year mark, she no longer carried the weight of sorrow in the same way. Instead, she described feeling connected to her child's presence in a loving, expansive way, while also opening her heart to life again. For her, inner change didn't erase the past, it transformed her relationship with it. As we reach the end of this journey, let's take a moment to recap. We uncovered the painful cycle that keeps people stuck in the old self, repeating the same thoughts, emotions, and outcomes day after day. We explored Joe Dispenza's principle of inner change, the science that proves it works, and the practical method anyone can start using today. We then walked through the transformation timeline, 30 days, 90 days, and 1 year, supported by real stories of healing, growth, and abundance. The message is simple yet powerful. When you change within, everything around you changes. Now, I want to turn this question to you. What part of your old self are you most ready to let go of? Is it fear, self-doubt, stress, or a limiting belief that has held you back for years? Share your answer in the comments below. Writing it down is more than engagement. It's the first step of declaring to yourself and to the universe that you're ready for transformation. Your words could also inspire someone else who's watching, showing them that they're not alone in this journey. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to support this channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss future videos that will guide you deeper into spirituality, personal growth, and the law of attraction. Every interaction you give, whether a like, a comment, or a share, helps spread this message to more people who are searching for hope, healing, and clarity right now. Together, we can create a ripple of transformation across the world. Here's my challenge for you. Don't just leave this video inspired. Leave it transformed. Take 10 minutes today to practice. Close your eyes, breathe, and imagine yourself as the person you want to be. Feel gratitude for that future as if it's already here. This is how you begin breaking the habit of being yourself. Transformation doesn't start tomorrow. It starts in the decision you make in this very moment. Before you go, continue your journey by watching the video we released right before this one. It's deeply connected to what you've just learned and will give you even more tools to embody the new self. The link is right here on the screen and in the description. Watch it next, and let this be the turning point where inspiration becomes action and knowledge becomes transformation. As we close this video, let's recap the key lessons we explored together. We began by uncovering the painful cycle that keeps so many people trapped, living the same emotions, thoughts, and results day after day. Then we discovered Joe Dispenza's principle of inner change and the science behind it. Neuroplasticity, epigenetics, and the quantum field all proving that transformation is not only possible, but measurable. From there, we walked through the practical method: awareness, mental rehearsal, elevated emotions, consistency, and integration. And finally, we traced the journey of transformation over 30 days, 90 days, and 1 full year. Now I want to ask you, what is the one pattern of the old self you are ready to release starting today? Is it fear, anxiety, scarcity, or self-doubt? Write your answer in the comments below. Declaring it is more than just interaction. It's the first step of commitment. By sharing, you not only empower yourself but also inspire someone else who may need to hear that they're not alone in this process. If this video inspired you, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you never miss future content on spirituality, personal growth, and the law of attraction. Every like, comment, and subscription helps spread this message to thousands of others around the world who are searching for hope, clarity, and transformation. Just like you. And here's my challenge. Don't just leave this video motivated, leave it changed. Set aside at least 10 minutes today to practice what you've learned. Step into gratitude, imagine your future self, and feel it as if it's happening right now. This is how you break the cycle of the old self and begin creating a reality that matches the life you truly desire. Before you go, I invite you to continue your journey by watching the previous video we released. It's directly connected to this one and will give you even more tools to embody the new self. You'll find the link right here on the screen and in the description below. Watch it now, and let this be the moment you choose transformation over repetition.